Warehouse and operations as a career back with you again. It's been a great week. I'm certain we've all been productive and made some great headways with our careers this week. I'm Marty, and I have to say I'm excited about a few of the episodes we're working on right now and planning for the next few weeks. I won't spoil all the surprises, but we have some great topics and guests that are already lined up. Keep those topics coming in. We love hearing from you, and we're receiving some great suggestions and questions each week, too. Today, we'd like to explore a few of them with you and see if we can gather up some answers. If you don't already follow WAOC on Twitter or Facebook, we'd appreciate you checking out those feeds, where we can be found using the little @ WHSEANDOPS. And of course, any missed episodes can be streamed or downloaded on our website at warehouseandoperationsasacareer.com. Okay, now that all that's out of the way, let's try and get caught up on a few of these questions that we've fallen behind on. Let's start off with this one here. It usually goes something like this. I want to make more money. Should I quit my job and get a warehouse job? Usually we hear such from someone in the restaurant or retail industry, or maybe someone in the fast food world. My career choice was operations, so I'd probably cautiously say yes. A chef is probably going to say, no way, keep honing your skills here. And of course the retail manager, he's probably going to talk to you about all the advancement opportunities that's available in that field. Oh, and your fast food boss will share all the managerial positions and franchise or business opportunities that you could grow into. Remember, as managers, we're all doing what we love. Our choices have been great choices for us. We've probably had some mentors pay attention to us, teach us, and, kind of helped us grow in our chosen fields. I saw a quote on Facebook just today from Herb Health Happiness that said the 3 C's of life: choices, chances, changes. You must make the choice to take a chance if you want anything in life to change. Kind of makes you think, doesn't it? My point is, and you've probably heard me talk to it before, we have to work the rest of our lives. I feel one has to enjoy their work to be successful at it. If we change jobs for a little more money, but we don't love what we do, not only will we not enjoy our days there, but we will not succeed at it. In my opinion, we'll just be wasting our time. I believe we can grow in any field or really any industry. We'll just need to get started, learn our job and the task of others that's working around us, get noticed by our management team, accept more responsibility every time that it's offered to us, be on time for every shift, and learn many times on our own about our industry, and we're guaranteed success if we enjoy what we're doing. Myself, in my senior year of high school, I worked part-time at a mall for a major retail store in the back room of their catalog department. There was 3 dock doors at the docks, and I would occasionally be tasked with working out there as our catalog orders would be delivered each day. I found I loved the physical workout and being around all the warehouse equipment. Eventually, I got to operate the forklift, and I got to say, I was pretty much hooked from that point on. I worked several jobs throughout the college years, but always wound up back on the docks. So to answer your question, I want to make more money. Should I quit and get a warehouse job? I'm going to say, if you're asking yourself the question, you need to make a choice. Do your research on it. Step out there and take a chance. That's what will lead to your change. There's no law that says that you can't do that over and over again, really. If you find you love warehousing, I can assure you the opportunities are there, and you can be as successful and make as much money as you'd like within the industry. The more you learn and the more responsibilities you're willing to take on, the more that you're going to earn. I got to rambling a little bit, but by now I kind of preach ops every chance I get. Here's another one we see from time to time, and we've talked to it a couple of times and probably should dive a little deeper. I've been a warehouseman for 2 years. I think I'd like to be a driver. I'd make more money. Well, that's maybe not really a question, but I see a variation of that sentence at least once a month. Transportation is a huge part of operations and really the whole supply chain. And yes, there's money to be made in the field, and I find it to be a great career choice. My first thought is if we've worked in the warehouse for 1, 2, or 3 years, you must be enjoying the work. If we're working hard, showing up on time every day, and doing things to get noticed by our managers, we've probably seen at least an increase or two and may be on our way to that first promotion of some type. Maybe we've changed task or been trained at another position or two, kind of started climbing the ladder, if you will. If you've been speaking with a few drivers, in other words, doing your research, and we believe we'd enjoy that job, the transition is really pretty easy and can be a huge opportunity for us. In earlier episodes, we talked about the different ways to break into the field. Basically, there's 2 avenues to pursue. I guess we should look at the 2 different types of driving also. Over the road, or driving for a vendor, and the delivery or route driver. The driving schools out there can be one choice, and coming up from the bottom or taking a position within transportation like on the fuel island or a driver helper within our present employer is another avenue. If we have the money for the schooling and don't mind spending some time over the road, I think that's a great route to take. You'll be exposed to the common carrier role, and it's a great way to see the country. Most of the delivery or route driver opportunities are going to want us to have several miles under the belt before they really turn us loose in the city with something like 20 stops on their tractor and their trailer. We got to remember, they've got tens of thousands of dollars tied up in that equipment. And add in the cost of the freight that you'll be carrying, you can understand they'd like to know that we can get the product delivered safely and without incident. I myself feel that you've got to be kind of a patient person to go over the road. I once thought I'd make a great driver. Signed on with an outfit and went out for a junior driver position that they had that you rode along with an instructor. My first 3 trips as a team driver, well really it was one trip, like 3.5-week trip, with 3 pickups and 3 deliveries, was enough to show me I wasn't going to really enjoy that life, and there was no way I would ever succeed at it. I ended up being stuck in Florida for about 2.5 days while our broker found us another load to head home with. Remember, as a driver, you're paid for hauling freight. Rolling empty usually is going to cost money. When I did get back home, I found me a warehouse job. I think that's when I realized how much I loved the job and started planning my career and really reaching for my goals. The other way to give transportation a try is by working in a non-driving capacity like a driver helper. Here we'll be traveling with a driver and responsible for stacking down the freight, properly unloading it, and if we're in the distribution or route delivery side of things, we may even get the chance to learn how to two-wheel the product into our customer's place of business, shelving the product and working with the invoicing even. Many companies will work with us, let us practice in their yard, with their trucks, help us learn to back up and bump docks. A lot of times they'll help us get our learner's permits, sometimes even let us use their equipment to take our driving test, and of course, give us a driving job as soon as we receive the commercial license and endorsements. We already know all their product, customers, and procedures because we've been helping the driver all along. I believe driving is a great career, rewarding, and really can be a lucrative profession. I hope my thoughts kind of helps. If you'd like to discuss it a bit further with us, shoot us an email to host@warehouseandoperationsasacareer.com, and we'd be happy to offer up an opinion or two on your particular situation. Okay, here's another one we see kind of often, on PPEs. I'm not really sure why we as associates question PPEs so much, but here's a question from about 2 weeks ago. Why is a safety vest so important? It's hot, and it doesn't help me when I'm unloading a trailer. I hear something like this all the time in my travels. Last August, I was in Arizona. I was observing the 3rd shift, and it was still 107 degrees at 10 p.m. I had been there earlier in the day, and it was like 121. Now that's really, really warm even to a Texan. I, of course, was wearing a vest over my t-shirt. Now seriously, does our lightweight vest, and mini vests that are worn in the warehouse environments can be a kind of a mesh material even, does our lightweight vest really hold in any heat? I myself wear a vest anytime I'm out on the floor, no matter if the company I'm walking with requires it or not. I don't think any of us would deny we're going to be seen better by any equipment operator. I've never talked to a fork driver or a pallet jack operator that didn't really appreciate the crew wearing a vest. It's just easier to see people in the aisles or on the front docks. Shoes and boots, our steel-toe PPEs, come up quite a bit too. I know many facilities don't require steel toes, but I strongly suggest and encourage that anyone that works around pallets and warehouse equipment wears them all the time on the floor. I've seen several incidents where people injure their toes by dropping a big heavy pallet on their feet and toes. Pallets are pretty heavy. Drop one on the bridge of your foot or on your toes and it's going to hurt. I guess my question is why risk getting hurt? Missing work or having an accident that's one of the things that we can prevent. Just recently we had a good discussion on the Facebook group Warehouse Equipment Operators Community about which are better, steel-toe shoes or boots. Myself, I prefer boots that cover my ankle when I'm working around pallets, but I do just wear a shoe style when walking a warehouse or really just kind of there observing. There's some really nice ones in both styles. Even some designer-style tennis shoes are out there now. Let's not argue about any required PPEs. Your company is trying to protect you. Let's just wear them. Many PPEs may be required, things like respirators, fall protection devices, and sometimes even hard hats. Many times it's the law. Our jobs require them. Let's just respect that and follow the rules. PPEs are there for a reason. At some point, the task has been identified, maybe through a job hazard analysis, as having a danger. Respect it, and let's be thankful to our employer for thinking of us and enforcing the regulatory rules. I think we have time for one more. Let's get to this one. I actually missed it, or we would have started with this one. Or I can say we saved the best for last, maybe. You talk about being certified and on-sited. Never to get on a pallet jack until you've been trained. What do you mean? Here in the States, our governing body is OSHA, or the Department of Occupational Safety and Health Administration, has set some guidelines, rules, and regulations and standards. Congress created OSHA to assure safe and healthful working conditions for working men and women by setting and enforcing standards and by providing training, outreach, education, and assistance. I'll add a link to the show notes, but you can find them at osha.gov in your browser, and a lot of interesting information is there. Anyway, 29 CFR 1910.178 is the section regarding powered industrial trucks. I'll add the link to here as well. It's actually a very interesting read, and I'd use the word educational too. Check it out. You'll enjoy several parts or sections of it. In a nutshell, it states to never get on, touch, move, or operate a piece of powered industrial equipment that you haven't been trained on. If your employer has not certified you to operate your equipment on their docks, mention it to them. I assure you they'll appreciate it, or that they should. The classes are really inexpensive, and any fines incurred, those can be very expensive. The class itself is really informative, takes about 3 or 4 hours to complete, and consists of a bunch of videos, instructional information, and a quick test at the end. There's an on-site required, which is usually a small obstacle course area where you can demonstrate to our instructor that we can operate the equipment. Let me take one more minute and get this one in. This question came in about a month ago. I, of course, replied, but I saw it here and thought I'd share it with the group. We were asked, do you have any forklift jobs? Is this a company? Well, no, WAOC is not a company, and we don't have any jobs to offer. We're we're just a group of old operations people sharing our experiences, thoughts, and opinions about an industry that we feel provides opportunities with long-lasting careers. We have a couple of mics and a recorder that we carry with us sometimes on the road or to different job fairs, but most of the time the show is recorded out of a room in the house and sometimes actually in a closet when it's raining too hard and the mic's going to pick up the sounds. So please don't be harsh with us on the audio. We're kind of learning ourselves, some of that self-education I'm always talking about. WAOC, it isn't monetized in any way, meaning that there's no money, no one receives pay or compensation for visiting with us. We truly just like talking about operations and sharing our experiences, and Yep, the occasional opinion. Do be sure to check out our Twitter and Facebook feeds, though. Sometimes staffing companies post positions there, and we try to retweet as many job postings as we can. Well, I hope we hit on a question today that brings you some value. We appreciate you checking in with us each week. Until next week, be productive and please work smart, which means work safe.